All right, welcome. This whole title is Surviving America's Decline and Thriving. Hopefully you'll find this interesting. We put some interesting together for you because right now, America's in a state of decay. How can we survive till the ship gets righted? Well, we're going to cover some of that tonight. There's lots of ways to follow us. Feel comfortable, pick away. We're all over the place and it's easy to find. We have virtual appointments, we have phone appointments. This world is opened up, it's amazing. Countries, other sides of the world, it's amazing. Shipping, we can get anything to you, any place, anywhere. My shipping department's about as good as anybody's, and people are amazed at how quick we can get stuff to you, so we appreciate your support. Now, last lecture, we had a contest. What's the craziest thing that you know now that you're awake? Zach said, he won the contest. He said, when I was a kid, I thought adults had some kind of special wisdom that they were given when they were adults. He said, now that I'm an adult, I realize most of these people don't know how to put their pants on in the morning. Zach, you won. You got the prize. Great observation, because I kind of had the same observation, but I can't put that one in. Now today, this is very important. What we're going to talk about, this is very, very important. What system, intelligent design or evolution? This is not about religion. This has to do about your health. Did you just evolve or were you actually designed? This is very, very important. Now, when I was growing up, I had nosebleeds. I needed minerals. The evolution people soldered my nose shut. When I had a fever fighting an infection, the evolution people said, you need to lower your fever. I never lowered a fever on my kids because they didn't get sick, because when they did have little fevers, they ran their course, it was done. They weren't anything like I was. If you have depression, they put you on Prozac. I had a lady today, she has a bad diet. Some protein's going to pull her out of the depression. They think it's a drug, I think it's a deficiency. Melissa, that you all know here, 17 years of asthma. I said, you got a chronic lung condition, a chronic low-grade infection, inflammation from childhood, 17 years of that. They called it asthma, gave her inhalers and antibiotics. We put her on some supplements, about 9 months, she's no longer an asthmatic. I can go right down this list. What do you believe? Patients come in acting like they're Christians, and everything they do is the vaccines, the beta blockers, the Lipitor, the water pills. That does not jive with intelligent design. It jives with evolution. Now, I understand emergency things have to be handled with emergency procedures. What we've done with common things is embarrassing. My concerns. As I get older and learn how to handle myself, this is the kind of things that I want to know about myself. It's taken me 40 plus years to learn the conditions in my body. Half of these aren't on a blood test. These are subclinical conditions. This is what I'm managing in myself. I'm not living on omeprazole, flu shots, beta blockers. This is 2024. We can do better than this. This is what I'm talking about. Learn yourself. There's a lot of things on that have changed my life. This is my 43rd year. Nobody's been able to keep up with a schedule like this because they've fallen apart. By the grace of God and great nutrition, I'm still standing. Thank God for this nutrition, because my diet sure didn't do it.
And one of the issues that he talked about was having safe food and ending the chronic disease epidemic. Our children are now the unhealthiest, sickest children in the world. Don't you want healthy children? And don't you want the chemicals out of our food? And don't you want the regulatory agencies to be free from corporate corruption?
Can you believe we have to say that in an election? We've been gamed for my entire life and yours. It's time to wake up. We're going to talk about beating the system today. Me and my wife went to the state fair last week before things got crazy. Half the kids looked like they had Asperger's. I'm ashamed walking around. This is the best we can do at this point in history. It's embarrassing when you're around a bunch of kids. Something's got to change. Simple. This dude from the past, we all had to deal with this guy. Control oil and you control nations, control food and you control the people. I've never seen such a controlled populace in my life that's happening right in front of my eyes right now. We're going to try to teach you. You make sure you stay to the end of this because we're going to tell you how to get out of the matrix because it's awful deep and most of you are ended up to here. You're not sick, we're being poisoned. This has become obvious. The people that start to realize, one of my neighbors came over a couple years ago and trying to process. If he's using Crest toothpaste, but you can't swallow it, he's asking me questions about that. I had to help him through that. I got rid of that when I was like 12, 13, but people still are reading the label and swallowing it, asking me what they should do. Good luck. What's your body worth today? You better take care of it, because if they sell you, this is what they can get. It's probably inflation now, but this excellent article on Twitter came up. This lady wanted to get an abdominoplasty, and she found out if she went to Turkey, they do it real cheap. She had a great job. They did a wonderful job, but when she came back a number of months later, she was having some problems with her system. And she went to the doctor and said, oh, by the way, they took your kidney when they did your abdominoplasty. They stole her kidney. Folks, take care of your parts. You don't want to get trapped up in stuff like this. This is ridiculous. You know, when I was growing up, like many of you, and all the situation comedies we were forced to grow up with, all I heard about was mother-in-laws. The mother-in-law jokes, the mother-in-laws, every situation comedy had mother-in-law jokes. Now, after 43 years in practice, I realized, for the most part, it's not mother-in-laws, it's daughter-in-laws. Daughter-in-laws have been the biggest train wreck for my patients. They can't fight the daughter-in-laws. The latest one, you can't come to see my child unless you get the vaccination. So my patients did some research. The guy blew out his left ear. His joints are ruined because they did their research and they said, we picked the J&J because it was the least lethal, so my daughter-in-law would let us to see our kids. Now, I'm pretty burnt out on daughter-in-laws because I've seen them train wreck so many families. I could name a pile of them, but I'm going to tell you something. If you got that daughter-in-law that's a real train wreck and you don't know what to do with her, I'll give you a little suggestion, because a lot of people have that right now. This is called the goose egg. This is what you leave them in your estate. It's a big zero. Put it out there. I have had to do that by name. Do not put up with people forcing you to get poisoned so you can see a kid once when they don't even like you anyway. So right off the bat, men, it's time to grow a set. When you're getting talked into a crazy vaccination because your crazy daughter-in-law says you got to do it to see the kids, take a walk. It's not worth your health or your life. I'm embarrassed for the people. A retired cop said to me today, that was the biggest mistake of my life, to get talked into that shot by my kids. I'm surrounded with this daily. People are ashamed of themselves for not growing a set and standing up to these people that are forcing disease on us because it's just trendy. I'm embarrassed for many of you. Least lethal. You should see, he should have taken the one that was lethal because he's all messed up now and he'd been better off if he took the bad one. I can't believe this is the choice. We picked it because it's the least lethal. I'm living in the twilight zone. I just can't believe it. Wow. They wouldn't possibly give Pfizer different vaccines for their employees, would they? And give different ones to you? They got caught. You got the special loaded one. They didn't. They got the saline one. That's embarrassing. I'd like to, when Judy Mikovits is posting stuff for me from 2013 and 14, thank you, Judy. I'm impressed that you've been watching all my stuff. She made some interesting observations on my lectures, and I said something. I forgot this. It was 2013. She said, this guy said, eventually, all the important literature will be scrubbed off the internet, and you're just going to be reading nonsense over and over. And I said that back in 2013. Look at the nonsense on the internet now. They've scrubbed everything that you need to stay healthy. Everything. Who is to blame for the greatest crime in human history? Now, I know you're sitting out there saying, oh, I know who this is. Do you? Do you really know? Look at your friends in the room right now. Who do you think committed the greatest crime in human history. Who killed and maimed and enfeebled and institutionalized more people than anybody? Let's get into this. Is it them? This guy's hanging by a thread. What these people talked us into is genocide. It's coming out. It's going to be crazy. Buckle up. Wait till Kennedy gets a hold of these boys. It's going to be a whole new world. Things aren't going to get better, but they're going to go sideways. It's not them. These are the criminals we all know. They're the ones that you don't know. Who is to blame? Back in 1967, the Sugar Research Foundation, backed by the sugar industry, paid the top Harvard scientists $65,000 each. 3 of them took 60. This is the Harvard. You send your kids there. The lady in charge of Harvard doesn't know what a woman is. She doesn't know anything. She's a DEI hire that just embarrassed herself. This is Harvard? Do you realize the money you paid to brainwash your children? These were missionary colleges when they started to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. Not nonsense. Harvard, 3 guys took $65,000 each to kill all of us. The review shifted the blame from heart disease to dietary fat instead of sugar. They knew in '67 sugar is killing everybody's heart. How big is big food, big sugar, and big pharma? They've been manipulating health information forever. And I have to listen to this. I listen today. I'm Lipitor burned out. I'm COVID burned out. I'm Omeprazole burned out. To talk about it's time to wake up. You'll know more about this later. In my life, I said this last time, my friends, my relatives, the doctors, the hospitals, every health coach, every dietitian, I've not sat in a meeting in my entire 43-year career, and very few people ever talked about how healthy fat is. They complained about it. They said it's evil, it's damaging, it's going to kill us. The entire story was a lie. For $65,000, you lost your brains, you lost your cancers, you lost all kinds of things because of this. We're going to get into that. This is pathetic. The CDC, the FDA, the EPA, the AMA, the WHO, hospitals, every doctor, every nurse, very few. And the ones that said this was crazy, you made fun of them. You laughed about them. I've been beat on for 43 years, and you know something? Didn't bother me a bit. I felt bad for your ignorance, if you really want to know. Who's to blame? These guys. This is the clown show. They estimate that these 3 guys took out 160 million worldwide, is what that low cholesterol, low fat nonsense, that's in the literature. Who are these guys? People don't even know. 65,000, they're probably all dead now, and we're still suffering from the nonsense that they peddled. My friends take Lipitor. My hockey buddies take Lipitor. Patients that have watched every lecture for 35 years are sitting home taking Lipitor, and they're feeling really stupid right now, aren't you? Well, you should. It's embarrassing. It's the age of information, and you clowned yourself. Scientists dismissed multiple long-term studies linking sugar to deadly arterial plaque. They disputed claims that heart disease increased with a high-carb diet, claiming nobody eats high-carb diets. U.S. sugar consumption tripled, leading to increased profits for big sugar, type 2 diabetes, and they estimated 158 million deaths. This is in the U.S. This is your doctor's suggestion. This is your health coach, your nurses, your counselors, your church potlucks. You torture people with that. And you want to know what it looks like to see somebody with no fat in their body? Watch Ben Carson on Tucker Carlson. My favorite politician. I could hardly watch the interview. He's a vegetarian. He's been told fat's a poison. My wife, who's a vegetarian, said he looks like he's in a coma. So look up Tucker Carlson, the great Ben Carson. He's got no fat in his brain, and I was embarrassed for him. Doctors prescribed their patients low-fat, high-carb diets for decades, till today. This is why I cut my schedule. I can't talk about the same thing. I'm in my 5th decade of the same thing. People are still getting roasted from it. The USDA urged Americans to trade butter for margarine. It clogs up the air. My son in Northville High School is being told that margarine is the greatest thing on earth. Dylan Tent, the famous heli realtor. He raised his hand when a teacher got done. Isn't that a trans fat? Yes. Aren't trans fat bad for the heart? Well, yes. Well, then why are we supposed to take it? I don't know. That's the answer in like 12th grade at Northville. I don't know. What do you send your kids to school for? I don't know. It's embarrassing. More than 1 in 3 people have prediabetes from that. You're fat, out of shape because of this. You didn't have to be. What do we got now? Alzheimer's disease. You've got to have fat in your brain. Watch the vegetarians. If you don't have extra fat in your diet, you got to get it somewhere. I'm watching them disappear in front of me. Alzheimer's disease is a catastrophe. Diabetes, a catastrophe. This is all coming from the low-fat nonsense. Heart disease and stroke, a catastrophe. The numbers are staggering. They're trying to take you out. Cancer. I cut out one of my articles that said, basically, there's no information to back up most of their therapies. Well, don't look into that too far because you might. Obesity. Do we have a problem with obesity? I went to the state fair. It looked like a circus. I said, how come they're walking around? Aren't they supposed to be on a fence somewhere? I'm just kidding. That was a joke. The 70s, this was the food pyramid in the 70s. This is what they did to us today. Make America's beaches great again. Look at this. I'm sorry I have to keep talking about this. It's every day. It never is registered because they're so dull from their low-fat diet. I can't get them to bridge this, so they just die slowly, vacantly, sickly. Looking like this. I hate to have to play this
It's
again.
dinner time on the East Coast in less than an hour. People are going to die.
Sir, we've got a boy on the hotline who says he might know something.
Who is this?
My name isn't important. What matters is that the answer is in the pyramid.
The pyramid? That's ancient stuff you're talking about. Are you sure? Bring up the pyramid.
What is it? What is it for?
We built the pyramid a long time ago to illustrate how much people should eat of the 4 basic food groups.
Sir, we abandoned the pyramid when Michelle Obama got involved.
The pyramid doesn't work. We've already tried it.
It's upside down.
What?
Sir, the pyramid is upside down.
Turn the pyramid upside down.
You can't be serious. That would put butter and fat at the top
Flip the damn food pyramid!
This is not FDA approved.
It's dinner time on the East Coast in 10 minutes. Now do it!
Sir, we've got a match. Nutrition is stabilizing.
We've got a well-balanced vaccine, sir. Get the president on the phone. Tell him to have some steak with his butter.
Tell the president to have some steak with his butter. Unbelievable. All you folks I had to listen to for decades with your smug expressions about how dumb this chiropractors were and these nutrition people because they talked about fat. We weren't as enlightened as you, apparently. This is a complete shame. It's a disgrace. The nursing homes are full. Hospitals are packed. The pharmaceutical industry laughed all the way to the bank, and you helped them. Every single day. Now, microplastics. This is important. Nanoplastic can manage to infiltrate the body and reach the brain. 5% of your brain rate, 0.5% is microplastics in your brain. Now, this is important. The human brain is approximately 60% fat by weight, more than any other organ. You have to have healthy fats or you look like these people in the nursing homes. It was a low-fat Lipitor. I got vegetarians on Lipitor. They come in, Randy, I got stinking thinking. My brain doesn't work. Well, it's because you got to have fat in your brain. Watch Ben talk on Tucker Carlson. Somebody's got to get him on some healthy oils because he looked like he was in a coma while I was awake, and he's a great guy. He's the last one holding the government together. Brain tissue concentration of microplastics in normal individuals is 0.5% by weight. Now, all you vegetarians and all you strict eaters, essential fatty acids like omega-3s are crucial for the strength and function of brain cells. The body cannot produce essential fatty acids independently. They must be obtained from food or supplements. When you think you can live this pure life, my wife's surrounded with some fat, you don't need to do this, really? Your brain will deteriorate without fat. And I'm seeing it everywhere you go, It's embarrassing. I'm closer to 70 than 60. Okay, a lot closer to 70. This is what it looks like if you run a decent show for decades. I spent a fortune to look like this because the nursing home is about 130 grand a year right now. I'm going to try to stay out of that as long as I can. Seed oils, got us all. Now, if I eat restaurant food. If I didn't take good oils, I would start to look like that. Seed oils blew us all up and slowed us down. Oils. I did those today. I've done all those. I rotate through my oils. This is the one for your kids. Forget this one. All you vegetarians, I'd put Ben Carson on this. You put him on 6 of those a day, his brain would start to, 3 days. 3 days he'd talk clearer. 3 days. This is what I took to have my skin look like this, so I don't look like John McCain, the songbird, the traitor.
Sugar in a baby's brain is called ADHD. Sugar in an adult's brain is called dementia and Alzheimer's. Sugar in your eyes is called glaucoma. Sugar in your teeth is called cavities. Sugar on your skin is called aging. Sugar in your sleep is called insomnia. Sugar in your blood is called diabetes. Excess sugar in your system is called cancer. Sugar on Wall Street, it's called billion-dollar industry. Addiction to sugar is 8 times more powerful than cocaine. Know who the real enemy is.
Your doctor said if you did a lot of carbohydrates, it would be good for your body. This is the kind of nonsense they taught at Harvard, Princeton, all your medical schools have become a joke. To send my kid to one of those schools, he'd have to pay for himself because I wouldn't do it. Demo side. To watch, the reason I got here, I want you, a lot of young doctors watch this stuff, and a lot of students in the colleges are watching this stuff. Let me tell you how I got here. I want to make it real simple. I didn't listen to anybody. They told me in school, I didn't pay attention in school because they told me I came from a monkey. I went to the gymnasium, I got this crap running down my throat from this tray that was supposed to make my teeth stronger. Intelligent design, I'm not an evolution dude. I believe I was designed. They kept doing dumb things to me that made no sense to this little 12-year-old kid. If God designed me, why are we poisoning me? Why are we putting mercury in my body? Why? It didn't make sense. I never knew I was going to be here. It didn't make sense. Schools didn't school. Churches told you to get the shot, especially churches that health messages. And I'll tell you something. Ted, Jim, you better apologize to Conrad Vine because you guys got some blood on your hands and people know who that is. Schools, cops, everybody played along. When are you going to take your life and your freedom back? I've been fighting the whole time alone here, and a handful of us have. My profession choked. They bought the Fauci story. It's embarrassing. What it feels like, and we're going to teach you how to survive. I'm going to show you what we did. We're going to offer some great offers for you guys. You need to survive because about 12 to 18 months because things are going to turn around. This is going to be a gigantic, you got to live. Most of my friends didn't make it. This is what it's like today. Trying to drive along, what can you avoid? I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. I play that. I don't even like, we use receipts that don't make you all weird. I got glasses for that. I'm full of that. I'm just trying to stay ahead of that game. I'm trying to displace those. Those thick people with that white push that's not fat, that's seed oils. Those thick men and women that come in, they don't move. It's just, what is that? It's seed oils. I never knew what that was. It's seed oils. And for you doctors out there and nutrition people, this lady will walk in and complain about one ingredient in Catalan. She's got nail polish, deodorant, shampoo, eyeshadow, fountain, lipstick, perfume. She's covered from head to toe in the most cancer-causing. I can't take this pill because it had gelatin on it. I can't take this pill. See this thing in here? I can't take this because it's going to mess my thing up. What thing? You were messed up when you walked in. This is what I deal with 3 days a week. Jeff and Craig, thank you very much for handling the other 2 days because I'm burnt out. I've dealt with enough of these. Your clothes. I wear merino wool. I don't have. My wife's all over this because the chemicals are seeping into your body. all this stuff is basically banned in the rest of the world. It's embarrassing. We just got rid of that one. You remember the kid that drank Mountain Dew in school? Anybody had a Mountain Dew friend? Those kids that drank 6 or 8 of them, that was the craziest kid in school. There was nobody crazier than a Mountain Dew junkie, and I remember that. They said it's bromine poisoning in their brain. Why is our country, they're making fools of us with food. Now, I don't like to eat, so I've been able to play around this. The people that like to eat got tangled up in all this. So I watch people, all you need to do is just eat and you're going to be fine. Really? Your food is poison. Your fruits and vegetables are poison. Everything's poison. They've been gaming us for our entire life. People just figured out the last, geez, they tried to kill us since when? For Pete, since you were born. Olestra. I remember Olestra. It's a fat blocker. You used to have a little puddle in your underpants. That was where all the fat ended up. You pooped your pants. That's what Olestra did. So it didn't last long, let's put it that way. It's embarrassing. US junk, UK. You go to Europe and you can actually get healthier and lose weight because they're not poisoning us. I'm embarrassed every time I see this on the internet. Who lets us do this? The FDA, the CDC, the EPA. Is it time to take your life back? Listen to the lecture, wait till the end. You're going to find out how to start at least gaining ground on this mess. They've made this, they've demonized that and promoted that. It's embarrassing. They light my cheese on fire. Would you like cheese on that burger? I'll pass. I'll pass. I don't want cheese, melted cheese. Great. That's pretty straightforward. We're paying a fortune for junk. I'm going to show you how to save a fortune, get healthier, thrive while they're trying to kill you. And I believe we got about 12 to 18 months because things are happening. It's going to be we're learning a lesson right now. Our food's going to change. But if you croak between then and then, you lost. We'll show you what to do. I'll show you how we survived. 30 countries won't accept our food. 30 countries. They don't want to be poisoned. They just want us. 75% of our food is genetically modified. Now, I got to be really healthy to handle this stuff. That's important. 30 plus years of hockey in an adult men's league, 43 years here eating restaurant food. I had to make sure this stuff dominated the restaurant food. I could not have done this on restaurant and grocery store food. And I don't care how healthy you think you eat. Come on, get it out of your head, because I've got healthy people that are dying all the time, swearing they did everything right. It's all over, and everybody knows somebody that swore they did it right, and they died of an aggressive cancer at 61, 62, 58. I swear I've done everything right. It's so deep you can't even figure out what they're spraying stuff on us. If your cow's eating GMO, and the patients tell me, I've never ate GMO. I don't. The way I eat, that's the Americans, of course. They got a special way of saying that, because they know they live perfectly. You eat the stuff that ate the GMO. There's nothing in your plants anymore. It's kind of funny. We were up north, and where we go, from the second we get up, there's 4 horses. And all they do, my wife's watching them, she says, look at these. They eat for 12 straight hours. They eat constantly. You know why? They're a vegetarian. There's nothing in that hay, so they got to eat about 40 bales of hay to get something. Who wants to eat all day? That's what it's like. It's a low density food. That's why it's low density food. If you have some clinical skills, in the last 6 months, I've had to gently approach 3 doctors and tell them, by your looks of you, you're going into a neurologic disease. This is at conventions and conferences, people that I know. You better get ahead of some of these because you got that dead stare, you got that little stumble, and I have 3 health professionals in 6 months. 2 didn't know. You better, 1 stopped the tremor in 4 weeks. Don't bring these basket cases. I'm not a basket case doctor. I'm catching people as it just starts. 3 of them, health professionals recently. And this is why you're all so dry and dehydrated, because glyphosate is pulling the minerals out of your body. You're being chelated. My mouth's dry, everybody's mouth is dry. You got to keep your minerals up because you're being chelated. I don't care how hard you eat, you're being chelated. This is another one. This appeal is a pesticide. It's not something to cover it. It's a Bill Gates got organic people to put a pesticide on their organic produce. And I eat organic. I don't have never had any pesticides, Dr. Tent. I eat organic. I know you do. Of course you do. This is ridiculous. Our life has been a complete joke. I've beat the system. Can you? I'll show you how to do it. USDA approves new food by splicing pig genes into soybeans. Who wants to eat a pig gene in a soybean? If you don't eat the bugs, you can't have your lab-grown meat. I can't wait for this guy to go to Gitmo. I'm sick of seeing him around. Now, we're getting a crazy tent time. Everybody likes the new stuff, so I'm going to give you some stuff you might not have thought about before. You ready? I'm going to throw some hypothetical stuff out there. Let's see if I can challenge your thinking. I'm going to throw some theories out there, some ideas. Let's see if you're paying attention. The basest crime before the flood, they said, was the amalgamation of man and beast. They defaced the image of God by crossbreeding, cross something. Confusion was everywhere. Let's discuss this. What do they mean, amalgamation of man and beast? What does that mean? They said biblically, if you believe in intelligent design, which this isn't about that, you were created in the image of God. If you believe in evolution, you came from a monkey, this means nothing. Let's break this down. 89% of all transplant recipients that had organ transplants had personality changes from the organ. I've had patients that had it happen to from blood transfusions. One lady had 3 blood transfusions, and I waited 1 year, and I asked her, what'd you notice? I'm different. I have different cravings. I have different emotions. I like coffee. I never drank coffee in my life. I like things change from the other person. Organs, you'll dream about people you don't know because the life of the animals in the blood. They did that kosher thing to try to drain it. Let's keep going. Now, if you can have a personality change from having another person's organ or blood inside of you, do you know how a Gila monster thinks? Do you know that? If you put a Gila monster venom inside of you, now you just amalgamated man and beast, that will engraft into your DNA, and that's terrifying. How does a Gila monster think? Well, maybe you might figure out just some weird thoughts. That's what's going inside your body. The amalgamation of man and beast. Patient came in today. There's easier ways of getting in shape. This is not getting in shape. Stay till the end of this lecture. This is not getting in shape. This is starving themselves. This is going to come back to haunt all of them. I can't believe people are falling for this. They look horrible. You're losing your muscle, not your fat. You can tell it in their faces. Rosie, I don't know, that's just in the corner. You can't help that one. Crazy stuff. Folks, there's other ways to get in shape. I've eaten lousy to stay in this kind of shape. You don't have to eat Gila monster venom to do this. Ozempic. How much? $4,000 a month down to $981. This is to get Gila monster venom inside of your body? I'm living in the twilight zone. Chimpanzee virus. The COVID shot is made from chimpanzee adeno. They're going to put monkey viruses inside of you. Do you think that is a biblical thing? The church sponsored this. How embarrassing. Let's say everybody's seen those crazy people on Twitter. Do they look like animals on Twitter? I see animals everywhere I go. Why? Maybe they didn't have a chance. They keep putting animal pieces inside of them. They're going to engraft that into human DNA, and all bets are off from there. The next flu vaccine, insect virus. They're going to put mosquito viruses inside of us. It's going to engraft into your DNA. It's the end of time. That's all I can come up with. This is a show. This is an abomination. I remember watching. Who didn't like watching Don Knotts? This is the amalgamation of man and beast. This was never supposed to be an issue. I never thought about this. These guys, all right? You want crazy tent time. All right. You get on this little island, if this has to fit into the biblical mindset, these people ate snakes and bugs and lizards and toads, and they intermarried, interbred. They've been on this little island forever. They have decayed by violating biblical principles. There's no way we evolved and they didn't. They devolved from their choices and where they lived. I had to process this to make sense of this because that North Sentinel Island's fascinating. That one guy just went to missionary, he wanted to teach him about Jesus. They speared him and ate him in about 10 minutes. Gee, this is not where you start with them. But something happened to make these people deteriorate. And I'm throwing out there, it talked about things you can eat. You start eating things that this is just my theory. You start eating weird bugs and weird things, you start getting weird like the rest of them. And 1,000, 2,000 years of that, I think you might look like that. That's just a theory. I thought you might find that interesting. Carbitarian. That's a vegetarian that lives on carbs, but they talk about how we shouldn't eat because they eat really good. There's a lot of them out there. Statin sucks the CoQ10 out of yourself. So if you've been on that, if you fell for the cholesterol thing forever, it was a complete catastrophe. Remember, sunshine helps lower cholesterol. That's why they told you to stay out of it, put sunscreen on. They wanted you sick again. If you've been on statins and you want to get off the ship, you put these 3 and 3, you put yourself 3 to 6 months of that, you'll start to rebuild your mitochondria that the statins compromised hugely. This is how we're supposed to eat. This is how meat, eggs, fish, nuts. I want clean biblical meats. I'm not going to eat the things that made those guys snakes and lizards. Clean biblical meats. If you want fruit. You want sugar, fruit's your sugar. We're going to talk about this in detail. People have all this stuff on. Look at the vitamins and minerals in a ribeye. You don't have a plant that does that. That's more dense than any plant that you can eat. I am not a meataholic. I could care less about meat. I like my high protein because I stay awake. I can't eat beans every day because I'm going to lose my mind on beans because I don't even like them. That is that's a very dense piece of nutrition. And there's not a plant anywhere that has that kind of density, and that's clean biblically. Don't let anybody tell you it's not, because they're going to try to tell you that. If you want to know what the vegans look like, go to the Veg Fest. They look like their head's a croquet mallet. Wicket neck. That's what it looks like to have no fat in your body. So I know the girls are laughing. That croquet head, little tiny neck, no fat. No fat, no fat, no fat. It's everywhere. They're easy to spot. Isn't that interesting? It's a croquet mallet. He's a wonderful guy. You need some fat. Vegan neck. This is online. It's called vegan neck. Your brain's trying to get fat something to keep you from ending up being brain dead in your 70s. Now, what changed? This is before COVID. This is my friends and acquaintances. This is my family and my wife's family. The youngest was 82, the oldest was 99. Here we are from 35, 60s. I could name all of these patients. I watched all of this. It was embarrassing to watch my friends and relatives. And I was the crazy one talking about food, heavy metals, nutrition. Interesting. Go to the Veg Fest and walk around. Just go to the Veg Fest and walk around. Yeehaw! There's about 3 testosterone levels in the whole pile. There is none. And Conrad Vine got beat up by low testosterone men. Sorry, Conrad. There. What I'm going to tell you to do is what I did. I decided to change things. There's what I looked at. It took 10 years to slowly do this, eating junk, garbage, whatever I wanted to eat, doing the intelligent shakes, and playing myself specifically. This is what you can do. I've gotten healthier as I've gotten older because I work hard at this because I'm a sickly person. The pediatrician ruined me. All my friends were healthier than me because my dad had good insurance. I have to work harder than everybody else around me to stay healthy because I was whacked as a kid. That's what it looks like. Now, food. I have to apologize before I go any further because I don't care about food. I graduated in 1975. We were a wild bunch. We had jobs, we had girlfriends, we had cars that we bought ourselves with our own work money. I was chasing my wife, girlfriend around back then. I was not thinking about Trader Joe's, better health. I didn't care. To this age, I wanted a job, I wanted a business, I wanted a career, I wanted an education. That's what I concentrated on. If people want to concentrate on that, they wouldn't sit home eating and complaining about what everybody's doing all day, because that's all we got now is people that can piss and moan about everything that's going on because they don't have a job. So get strong, start working. This is what I had to do. And when I kept working, I'm not critiquing the world. I'm not looking at what everybody's doing wrong. I'm not the obnoxious people all over the internet complaining because the working people are working. We don't got time to do this. So as I watch this food thing go crazy, there's a lot of us that don't care. What's the easiest way I can stay healthy so I can have my cheeseburger, I can have my chicken and rice, I can have my pizza, because we all eat the same thing, but I need to get density behind that or I'm going to look like them. There's no density in your food. I eat the same thing. I have 5 restaurants here that I've made that little circle in for 43 years. I plug the holes the way we're going to show you today because there's nothing left in the food, and people that try to do it are dead. I lost about 30 pounds there, about between 25 and 30 pounds, doing nothing except the shakes, and we'll show you, they're going to tell you what I actually did. Okay, you could turn over most of the cells in your body in 7 years. I think that showed you what I just did. In 10 years, I look better now than I did then. It's possible, but you're not going to do it on this food. There's nothing in it. It's poison. No, it's not, Dr. Tent. The foreigners will agree. The Americans are going to argue with me. It's just guaranteed. It's just the way it is. I'm not sure what's scarier, the insane grocery prices or the food being sold to us. The food in the restaurants tastes lousy to me. The food's crummy now. I just eat to stay alive. I have a simple diet because I want to do my shakes. And a lot of kids are like, Dr. Tent, they're going to come up with universal basic income. We don't have to have any ambition. You don't got to go get a job. They're going to have universal basic income. They're just going to give us a check to stay home. Really? To get your check, you will have to have a monkeypox shot. You'll get a COVID shot. You'll get a tetanus shot. You're going to get a list of shots. They're going to make sure they're not going to give you many checks. So if you think you're going to get all this money with this universal basic income, it's a trap to get you to fall for it. There you go. $141,000 a year. Now that looks pretty good. Go to the nursing homes now. Look at the people taking care of your relatives. Half of them just got out of jail. Go to the nursing, go to the assisted livings. Ask anybody that works there what it's like. They don't care. Nobody cares anymore. It's every man for himself. And our society's collapsing right in front of you. You better get your health back because going to the hospital is taking your life in your hands. How do you survive America's decline and start to thrive? How do you do that? It has to be done. Now, the whole purpose of this, when these prices of food went crazy, the price of what I'm doing didn't. I have not been, just the simple things I bought, the food price on the restaurant's a little bit more, but my basic food price haven't changed at all because it's the simple shakes that fill me up. My pills are food. All my supplements are food. I'm not even sharing this with you. My bag of pills, if I showed you what they were, people want to take them. I want you to take the pills for you. I got my things, my weaknesses, you got yours. We're not all taking the same thing. This is the year 2024. We can do better than this. I grind up my pills. I use some coconut water. I pour it in here between the shakes and my individual weaknesses. Pour this very simple stuff. And I can thrive with 3 sick days in 43 years, playing hockey for 35 years, taking names, you know, having fun. It's just my exercise. And I didn't get hurt, thank God, much. That'll be another story. Save money and beat the system. Now, 1 out of 3 of you is turning diabetic right now. 1 out of 3 people, your kids, your parents, this. 2 small shakes a day and eat Casey's diet. We got Casey's diet, you're gonna see simple high protein suggestions. You can live on this. You can control this well. 2 shakes, very simple. This is how simple it is. This is my food. If you're diabetic, leaning, and you're out of shape, you will change everything. This will change everything. You throw those pills in, your cravings will change, everything will change. You'll get back in shape without a lot of effort. Frame support. I played a ton of hockey on that. Thank God I didn't break anything because I had a lot of tough falls. But how well does that work? This is a ground up spine. The whole thing. Roy Lee was a genius. You put that together, we're going to give you a special deal on this because this makes it feel full. You got to feel like there's some weight to it. You need saturated fat. $4 a day. How simple is that? These 2 ladies came, these are 2. Now, I want you guys to give each of them the story. These guys shared their story. Donna and Mary J, both patients of mine. They asked me years ago, Dr. Tent, I want to do that hockey shake, your frame shake. I think I should do it. They're old and fragile. Both of them on the same day had a slip and fall after about, 7 to 9 months on that hockey shake. 7 to 9 months. It wasn't after a week. Both of them walked in and said, boy, I slipped in the ice and fell. It felt like I bounced off the cement. It felt like I bounced. When you can bounce off the cement at that age, they both said the same thing from that shake. Exactly. I felt like I bounced. At 75, you bounce off the cement, and she did. That's how strong you can make your frame. Detox shake. This is the one I like because the world's so toxic. I love this one. This is a big part. You're going to have a chance to go through a year. Here's your detox, here's your glucose, here's your frame, and it's cheaper than what you're eating, and you're going to look better at the end of the year than when you started. How simple is that? It doesn't get any easier. The traditional vegetarian shake. There's a vegetarian shake. Save your brain. Don't end up being mush brain. They're everywhere. I'm going to encourage you. These shakes are dense. I open up one of those or 2 of those. I might grind up a couple of those. Help yourself digest this dense thing because all of us are so hypochlorhydric. You people that lost appetite, taste, and smell with COVID have no zinc. If you have no zinc, your digestion's weak. Just remember that. That's your clip. That's your tip for the day. But I need to help my body digest this at this point in my life. Now, I can admit that there's not a lot I'm doing a high protein diet. You'll see Casey's diet. I'm on a high protein diet and on this shake. And every once in a while, because there's not a lot of fiber as much, I want one of those to make sure I got to digest it and keep it moving. I'm very fussy to digest it and keep it moving to keep this whole show because there's not a lot of fiber in this, but I want the density without the calories. I'm getting density without calories. Calories made us fat. Density makes us full. So if you have to take one of those every once a week, twice a week, whatever, just keep this machine moving so you can absorb it and make it work. My food prices haven't changed at all. This has been easy. My shakes, very simple to do. Now, as I talk about this is important. In this office, you have 3 guys that actually, this is all they ever wanted to do. Craig wanted to be a chiropractor since the day he was born. Jeff wanted to be a chiropractor since he got out of high school. I got pushed into this by my mother. I never wanted to do this. Let's just put it that way, never. But I got into this. I had a knack for this. I met some interesting people, Dr. Versendahl, Dr. Goodhart, Dr. Dobbins, men that made me who I am today because I copied them. We're here for you. We are salaried doctors. Nobody gets paid to do anything here. I never hired them to do that. They get paid extremely well. They're not paid to do anything. I refused to that pay-to-play thing. I said, get them as fast, get them better as quick and fast as you can and cheap as you can. So you're going to have those kind of people watching out for you. I want you to remember that if you can hear, well done, good and faithful servant, at the end of this journey, you got the right life that you've lived. It's going to be a journey. My girls are going to come up and tell you how to play this shake thing. You got a bunch of deals. We've got a year into this. Let's try to hold ourselves together until this Earth turns around for these last few years of Earth's history. Things are going into a huge crescendo shortly. Kennedy said we got to get food back. It ain't there yet. Start getting yourself in the right direction. It's going to take a couple years to get this machine turned around. Things are going to get worse, not better, but try to get your health back. I showed you how to do it. It's cheap, it's inexpensive compared to what food price. I can't believe what food prices are, and I'm glad I don't eat this stuff because it's not worth it. My shakes have been simple. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to turn it over to the girls, and they're going to take it from here.
All right, so I think we can agree that may have been one of Dr. Tent's best lectures that he has ever done.
Absolutely.
So now we're going to come to you guys and show you how you can survive through these next couple years and how you can transform your life and to be better. So.
All right, so as far as the shakes, so obviously Dr. Tent went over everything that he had recommended in regards to the frame shake, the detox shake, the glucose shake, things like that. So a lot of you, I'm sure, are sitting around saying, I know exactly what I want to do. This is going to be perfect. I know exactly what I'm going to be signing up for, all that good stuff. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of you that are still kind of trying to figure out, where do I even begin? So 4 different shakes, literally perfect to be able to use one protocol for each quarter. So a really good thing to start off with is January through March is that detox shake. Set yourself up for success through the year. And then so on. Basically hitting that glucose support shake. All of it's going to help to balance your glucose or your blood sugar anyways, but to be able to like have those focus points that we really typically wouldn't go towards would be perfect to do. So start with that detox shake, move on to the glucose support shake, traditional shake, Dr. Tent's traditional shake after that, and then end it with that frame support shake. I feel like some of these are, like I said, something that we don't typically like focus on. So it's a really great place to start. And I feel like you might even find going through the year, you might find something that you really love, like something that you got great results from. You might like all of them, so you want to start all the way over again. But just keep an open mind. It's a great place to start for all of that, and it's going to be good.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, a lot of you come in and you're like, I don't even know, like I want to do this shake, but I don't know, do I just have to do the shake? What do I add to it? It's everything so up in the air. I'm confused because people want direction. You know you better than we know you. So if you know you're a gallbladder person, grind up AF beta food into something. If you know that you don't digest things well, add, like you said, the betaine hydrochloride, add the HCl. That's gonna help. That's gonna help break that down so your body absorbs it. Let's say, well, my eyes, my ears are messed up. What do I do? Open up those in there. Grind that stuff up. Invest in a great grinder. You know, you could do the mortar and pestle. It's a little bit more time consuming, but you can do it. You know, if your brain is an issue, Cataplex B is huge. Everyone complains, I'm in brain fog, I don't feel myself. Add Cataplex B. Do it straight in the morning. It's huge. You know, I'm gonna open up my lithium into mine. If you know me and I've had that conversation with you, I always do that. And you know, if you need, you know, more help, you can email us, you can call us, email us at questions@diversehealthservices.com. You know our number, you call it often, and it'll be great. There's things that you guys can do that can help add more beneficial results to this. Get yourself moving. You know, Dr. Tent, what does he always do? He's bouncing on his trampoline. If you're those virtual patients, you have to watch him bounce up and down. Get moving. That's a great way to shake yourself up, get things going. You know, it's not just the shakes. your diet plays a huge portion. If you do shakes, that's great. But in the rest of your life, you're falling apart, you might need to tighten that up for a little while. I know I do. And get yourself sweating, get yourself moving. Sitting out in a hot car is a great sauna. For those of us can't afford something that expensive, sauna, your car, great.
Well, and I think a lot of our patients will hear a lot is, I have pill fatigue. They might not come out and say it that way, but oh my gosh, how many pills am I gonna have to take? I'm not a pill taker. We've heard that from so many new patients as well. And so if you're someone that's maybe suffering with a heart condition and you might be on 10 or 12 Cardio Plus, how much easier is it gonna be just to grind those up, throw them in a shake, you're drinking your meal, and you're taking those pills at the same time. It becomes a lot easier. It just kind of becomes a way of life. Right. I know Trish has little containers that she puts her powder in the morning, and she just dumps it in when she gets to work in a shaker bottle and does it that way. So it's another solution to solve that pill fatigue. I take so many pills. I mean, look at Dr. Tent's bag. I mean, that thing, I kid you not, probably weighs 20 pounds. I don't know. To say like, so quite a bit. He's taking that all day long. And so obviously, and he's been doing that for 42, 43 years now. So learning how and when to shift things. He has certain things he'll take in the morning. We all do have certain things we'll take in the morning, certain things we'll take at night, certain things we might take more of depending on the day. It just, you have to learn you. Like Melissa said, you know you best. So it's figuring out what your thing is, and then how do we incorporate it. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help support you, help you walk through this journey. We live this life, and we try and remember that you guys you aren't in this every day. So if something comes off too rushed or you're confused, like Melissa said, email us, give us a call. We'll take a deep breath, walk through it with you again. That's what we're here for. Sometimes the doctor's appointments can be quicker. Sometimes if they're running behind or feeling backed up or something like that, they can come across as rushed. That's what the assistants are for. So just remember, we're always here for you. We're going to explain things. Just sometimes remind us like, hey, can you explain that one more time? I'm not quite understanding it. That's, like I said, that's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
So,
okay. And also, with your kids going back to school this time of year, it can be hard trying to, I gotta cook your breakfast, I gotta get this done. A shake is easy. Her daughter,
3.5.
And what does she do every single time?
She makes herself a chocolate shake. And I don't know how she does it. It's about this much water with 2 or 3 scoops of Veggie Pro and half a scoop of that SP Power Mix. And I know at the end of the day, sometimes we're too busy by the time I get home, and it's a 40-minute drive home, and all of life happens. We don't have time for dinner. And a lot of times she will just drink a shake. And with that SP Power Mix, which we can, talk to you guys about more, I know she's getting all her fruits and veggies, so I don't have to worry about that. So,
talk about density.
It's very thick. It's like sludge. I don't know how she does it. But so we've talked about all these shakes now. So how do we get them to you? Well, we have something that you guys have been asking for years and years and years. So how do we get them to you? With these shakes, we're going to offer an auto ship. So it's going to be every month. We're going to have a card on file. We're going to charge it out. We're going to send it out. We'll set up that program with you. Benefits of adding in this auto ship is you're going to get, obviously, your regular monthly deliveries. You're going to get MCT, that bio MCT, that density that he was talking about for the entire year. You've used a bunch of bio MCT. Yes. So tell us a little bit about.
So bio MCT makes your shake, so if you don't add it in, it can taste like you're drinking water, muddy water. But this makes it thick, so it's like I'm drinking a shake. I'm not drinking dirt water. Some people explained it that way. But it's nice, and it has no flavor. It doesn't make it taste funky. Right. It's tasteless. Start off with like half a teaspoon, work your way up to like a tablespoon, especially if you don't have a gallbladder. Be mindful of that oil.
Gallbladder.
Yeah, a bad one. But just adding that into the shake is huge.
That helps so much.
1,000%. Your mental clarity goes up, truly, with those oils.
And like Dr. Tent said too, it makes you feel fuller for longer. That's what I really like about it. So you don't feel like you have to constantly be, feeding.
Exactly.
And then the last one, probably the biggest one, is you'll be entered into a drawing of 5 cash prizes of $1,000. So that's something that Dr. Tent wants to do because he knows food prices are insanely expensive. And by supporting us, we want to be able to support you guys. So follow the instructions. You'll text that phone number. Obviously, phone calls still come to the office. That's not an office phone number. But go ahead and text those. And the last thing, unless anyone has anything else they want to add.
I think we're good.
So the last thing that we want to talk about tonight is we finally have Dr. Tent back lecturing. We've got the other 2 starting to lecture again, and we've got a couple round tables in the works. So we're going to leave you with this video, which is going to kind of preview into our fall and winter lecture series. Thank you so much for supporting us. You guys have a good night.
See you guys.
When my uncle was president in 1960, go back and look at his speeches and his thoughts back then.
About a subject which I believe to be most important, and that is the subject of physical fitness.
And he was extraordinarily distressed at that point. And if he could look at Americans today, he would be in shock because we are so sick. When he was in office, obesity was at 13%. Today it's at 45%. 75% of Americans are overweight. When he was in office, 6% of Americans had chronic disease. By 2006, it was at 54%. Now, this is one of the reasons, the key reasons that I ran for president, to end this chronic disease epidemic and to restore Americans to good health.
This should be a matter of concern to us all. A country is as strong really as its citizens. And I think that mental and physical health go hand in hand.